thanks for coming along for this episode of Multiplayer, guys. We've got Iain, Dave, me, that's Mark, and Scott with us. Scott Plays Bad Games, or Geek and Sundry, I suppose.
One of the two, whichever one I don't get fired from, to be honest.
One you can get drunk, that's the other one you can't. So, what have we all been playing this month?
Well, I've been just batting through the stuff I've got in 360, the Xbox One.
Ah, you've moved up a scale then?
Yeah,
You're on
I managed to afford one.
The X-Bone.
So, I shelled out and got the extra characters for Killer Instinct. And I've just been spamming that for
you damn shell.
But to be fair, I didn't want to sit and play as Jago for like 3 months.
So. There's only so much Jago you can handle.
Yeah. So does it play exactly like the original Killer Instinct then?
I mean, it's got like extra stuff, like it's got the equivalent of like supers. We've got like shadow moves.
Okay. Like Super has.
Yeah. Other than that, I mean, it's much the same. It's just kind of input followed by linker, then another special move.
Some guy going Ultra.
But it is good. I'm enjoying it. So I've mostly been playing that.
Okay. Yeah. But I still haven't been able to afford an Xbox One. It just seems like the future to me.
I can't afford any games.
No, that's just characters for games.
To be perfectly honest, it doesn't really matter because I've got both, and they both get turned on to download PlayStation Plus games and the Xbox game for gold, and then they get turned back off again.
Alright.
But no, that has changed. I've been playing Wolvenstein, which is a blast from the past, and it came back with a vengeance.
What have you been up to, Blasco heads?
Shooting, stabbing, strangling Nazis.
Totally classic. Nothing trying to break the mould and say, oh, we'll get something new and shiny that's going to be shit.
Yeah.
It's just classic Wolvenstein with shiny fucking graphics, excellent stealth play.
Does it have medipacks?
Yes, it does.
Yes!
And you can still overcharge as well.
Really?
You can still overcharge your health. Dual wielding right from the beginning of assault rifles, submachine guns. And someone actually said to me, oh, I think it's really bad that they put in dual wielding like machine guns. You can't do that in real life. And I'm like, but it's Wolvenstein, this isn't real life.
like when we used to play first person shooters, it was like, Duke Nukem was like holding 8 weapons at once.
Wolvenstein is a prime example of how Duke Nukem should have been done.
The new one, yeah.
Because there's actually one part right at the beginning where I was sneaking up behind the Nazi, and he's on the phone to his Führer, and he's talking about
it's future Nazis, isn't it?
Yeah, future Nazis.
Sorry, just to clarify.
You're not current Nazis. But no, he's on the phone.
Nazis.
He's on the phone talking about how he misses his wife and kids, and I thought, I feel really bad. I'm like, no, he's a fucking Nazi. But it took about, I think it was about an hour and a half, 2 hours before it came up with the intro sequence saying, oh, Wolvenstein, New Order. So it's like kind of a bit like a Bond movie. It's got like a nice big epic intro,
like a prologue,
and it's like, now you're beginning the game.
That's pretty cool.
I've been playing it for the last 3 days, and that's me just about the halfway mark. But the best thing about it is that the storyline does keep hold. You do actually pay attention to the characters. Right from the beginning, there's a Scottish guy who is played by a Scottish guy, played by a Glaswegian, looks, acts like it, sounds like it, but the characters are so full of life that you actually enjoy the story compared to like kind of COD, where it's like, so there we go, more so.
Because that was like when we were playing that Far Cry 3 multiplayer thing.
Yeah, the Scottish
as soon as we
guy,
get there's a Glaswegian in that, and as soon as he goes like, you try and spot people, it's like, I see you on cunt over there. And you're like, I like this now.
I think that was like the only game that I've played where it had somebody who was meant to be Scottish who sounded Scottish.
Yeah, because that's a pretty hard thing.
It's few and far between. I think we notice it because we are Scottish.
Yes.
It's like, no, that's really
I think the way we notice it is usually we start cringing because we feel that accent and you're like, no one else should have to hear that.
I felt really bad years ago with Age of Empires 2 and the starting campaigns William Wallace one. I remember this because I was in Canada once, just happened. And I'm sitting down in Borders and they've got it as a demo, so I'm playing going, we don't sound like this. And then like 2 random Canadian girls sit next to us and I really watch her around and go, we don't sound like this! We're a country of millions, fucking hire one of us! I'll do it!
You're like grabbing them.
No, that is the thing, it's like, there is fucking thousands of Scottish people in the world, but in this day and age you would expect that every nationality will be portrayed perfectly.
No, but instead we get Robert Carlyle to play an American vampire in Castlevania games. That's exactly what we're supposed to be.
That's what we should sound like. But anyway, what's everyone else been playing?
What about yourself?
Well, I've not technically anything proper, but I have
the
got
Game
myself
Boy.
one of these.
Always at the retro.
The thing I've been playing most is actually Tetris in the train. It's almost like a form of meditation now.
Do you still play in the Game Boy? Because like I know there's been multiple versions, but it is the best version.
It's the original and the best, to quote the Iron Brew advertising.
Yeah.
And it's almost like normally if I'm going to work, I'll get on the underground and I'll just be sitting there going, I don't want to go into work, I don't want to deal with emails, I don't want to deal with arseholes. Then I'm just like, I'm quite calm, quite happy, and it sucks you in the same way it did about at least 20 years ago, probably more.
I quite longer than that.
The Game Boy itself, 1989, so Tetris itself probably around about the same.
Do you think you would be as calm if you were playing something like Super Mario Land or something?
I've got Super Mario World 2 as well with 6 golden coins, and I'm less calm.
That one was
Funny you should mention that. I was playing that last week. Mario and the 6 golden coins. I thought, it's fucking years ago. Piece of piss. No, I didn't remember that if you wipe at the very last level, it's like, I'll just fucking take your coins. Redo all the bosses. Yeah.
Oh man, like, because I remember playing that the first Mario Land on the Game Boy, and I found it extremely frustrating because it was like, 2 pixels wide was the platform you had to land on, and your character was like 2 pixels wide, so it's like, and those sound effects are just like, just let me down.
the one I really liked on the original Game Boy was Wario Land.
Oh, Wario Land
where you
was
actually
awesome.
had an overarching amount of money that you had to get by the end, and if you didn't get it, then you didn't actually win the game. Things like that.
Just like life.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, I've been playing like stuff myself on, like, when I go on the bus now, I take my phone, I've got like a couple of emulators on it, like I've got a SNES and a PlayStation on there, just playing like games that I just fucking loved. Like, I actually, it's the only time I've had to play through Final Fantasy VI. Like, I sat there and like on a bus playing each individual part of that, and I finished it, and I was like, I can't believe my journey's lasted this. Like, how did I get there? Like, this game's massive, and I managed to go through it all.
I think it's been about 5 hours actually the last time I went down, just playing Little Big Planet in the PSP. I'm just basically being charmed fuckless.
The first time you play Little Big Planet, it's just like you can't stop smiling. Like,
I was been playing Terraway because you told me it was really good. Cause I thought, I've got it. It's one of the ones where I never play my Vita, so I'm like, right, well, I'll get around to it at some point. There was a day off, and I thought, well, Dave's told me Terraway is really good. I'll give it a bash. And single-handedly, it's the best game that uses every part of the Vita without seeming gimmicky.
Yeah.
And it's so well done. And I think I played about 3 or 4 levels. And it's just trying to find the time now, but I thoroughly enjoyed it. And the Media Molecule are really good at just kind of capturing and going, this might seem like a kid's game, but you'll fucking love it.
Yeah. The only problem I had with Terraway was that I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a really good game, but it's not like the longest game in the world. Like, you could probably finish it in like a day if you sat and played it. And at the end of it, I was like really sad that it was finished.
But it's like most of these kind of games, like Journey, it was really good for that.
It was only like an hour long, wasn't it, Journey?
They're really quite short, but it's that journey you actually have without making it into a pun. Where it's like you thoroughly enjoy it, you're like,
one of my favourite games I've played in like the past few years is Super Brothers Sword and Sorcery. You've ever played that? It's like a mobile game. It's also on PC as well, but it's on like iOS first, and it's like a little kind of like point and click adventure game, kind of done in an old school kind of like I don't know, almost like 8-bit graphics. It's like really good, but it's just really, really charming, and it's got quite a lot of like kind of, it's like almost David Lynch in a certain way. It's like weird shit going on and all this kind of stuff, but it's like, it's so utterly charming and it just hooks you in, but it's really short, and when you get to the end of it you just feel so sad that you've just lost this like little world and this little journey, and it's like it's so heartbreaking.
There's been a good few of them that have come out recently. Ubisoft released one a couple of weeks ago. It's called Tail of the Light. It's done with what's it? I can't remember the name of the department. It's like Ubi something, but it's all done as if it's watercolours. And all the characters rhyme as if it's a poem, and it's quite sad to begin with because basically it's like a king in his land and he's all happy and his wife dies but he's got his daughter, so it's fine. Then she falls into a coma. This all happens within the first 20 seconds of the game.
Like happiness.
But she's in a coma and she's trying, I'm assuming she's the child of light, and she meets these various people, but it's like a kid's book, but it's like kind of classic platformer, kind of 2D, nothing special, but the graphics are phenomenal, but the fighting is turn-based, like kind of old school Final Fantasy, so it's got a nice mixture to it, and it's got quite a little unique kind of way of upgrading your weapons. It's just crystals you collect, and again, it's quite short, but it's thoroughly enjoyable.
Yeah, well, for the opposite side of the spectrum from me, is all I've been playing is Dark Souls, which
Dark
is
Souls.
the longest game I've ever played where I've not felt bored. Which is just fantastic. So I spend like hours and hours upgrading weapons in that and just going, take all the souls and spend them on stuff. It's just like...
See, I've never played any Dark Souls games.
Right.
Purely on the basis of, I think it'd been more... My vision of it has always been that it's more like Alter Beast, where it's easy to do, the game just makes it hard as fuck.
Well, see, the thing is, like...
Is that the case, or is it
it's kind of been blown out of the water, because for me especially, like I bought this game just recently because I listened to everyone. They were saying it's so fucking hard, it's so boring, it's so long, and I'm like, alright, I'm gonna give it a go, I'm gonna play it for myself. The game's not hard in my opinion at all. It is, I die much in that game as I ever died in Zelda, as I ever died in anything else. It's just people don't know how to play it, because it's like essentially in the game you have a hub world when you start, and you can go like one of 5 locations, but people always will go to the wrong location. They'll just go to the one that's like more towards because they all interlink into different places. So if you go to a way that's towards the end of the game sort of section, you're gonna get killed.
Essentially like an MMO. Most MMOs do that, where it's like they've got the starting area and it's like, right, okay, that level here is from level 4 to 10, but over here, right next to it, is level 20 to 30. Don't fucking go in there.
Yeah, but it's kind of like that.
It's just not as labelled.
But the game doesn't tell you anything. That's what I love about it, and people find that quite annoying. But it's like, it's kind of like, you know, when you played Zelda, right? You did not know anything in that game. You were like, what does this sword do? How do I figure that out? And this one is exactly like that.
Well, the thing is as well in that game is that when you're talking about going to the different areas from the hub, and there's obviously like the bit that's basically meant to be when you're like level 20 right? Is that there's no reason for anyone who is in that hub to really tell you not to go there.
No,
because they've not got anything to do with you.
But the thing is, like, you can go there, like you can get through it, because the thing is, I accidentally, there's a part in the game called Blighttown, which is essentially like, everyone goes on about Blighttown being the worst thing ever because the ground is poison, everything can poison you, you'll die, no problem. I accidentally went in the back entrance of Blighttown, which is like, you know, like you can get there really from the start, and then so I went in the back entrance and didn't know this, and I'm going through this entire place, like fighting my way through this, going, oh my god, this is so hard, and I get to the end and I'm like, finally I'm out of Blighttown, go up, turn to the gate, and it goes, gate's locked from the other side. I'm like, what do you mean the gate's locked from the other fucking side, right? And then like I go all the way back out and all the way kind of thing round, and I figure out I've gone into Blighttown before I'm even supposed to, and there's an entrance from another way in from this other castle, and I get there and I'm like, the fuck have I done? So now from that point on, I'm just walking up to bosses and going, dead, because I've just like, I've killed my way through all these things at such a low level, and I've got all these like soul power-ups and stuff, and it's really fun.